Hey, my name is Rob. Welcome to my garage where I am in the process of restoring this 1965 MG Midget. So because I want to be able to get everything off of the car that can come off the car and get down to the shell, I decided I was going to go ahead and build a cart that I could put the body on. The main reason is I could just put it up on jack stands and take all the stuff off, but then the car is basically stuck in the garage and it's almost impossible then to move it out of the way if you want to. So by building the cart, I feel like I can take all the stuff off of it, lift the shell up on it, stand it on the cart, and then that way I can roll the car out if I need to do work in here or take it out and sandblast it. So one of the things I've been working on is building this cart. It's basically 2x4s and a 4x4 post all bolted together. The dimensions I went with, and I'm just guessing, it's 46 inches in both directions, so it's basically a square. And I think that will fit so that when the body sits on it, it's inside the rocker panel lip, because I know I'm going to have to drill out spot welds and grind on that. So I think it's going to leave me space to do that. I know the thing is sturdy enough to handle it. So now at this point, I'm going to wheel this out of the way, move the car back in, put it up on jacks, and start taking off all of the front suspension. There it goes. Whew. Let's take this brake caliper off first. There's actually quite a bit of brake pad left on that. I don't know what the other side's gonna look like, but I need to get a bucket to put pieces in. Back, I think that takes off the back side of the caliper, and looks like it's a 1/2 inch socket. So my goal at this point with the car, after I've gotten the cart built, is to go ahead and take everything off of it. I've been working on the front suspension and the steering, and I'm almost there. I've almost got it finished, but I'll show you what I've done and kind of the snag I've ran into. I didn't film the taking of all this stuff off because pretty much it all has to come off. So you're basically unbolting everything, the brake line as it comes in, the brake caliper, the tie rod end that goes to the steering. I've already taken all that stuff off. On the passenger side, I've got it all off. Everything is off, including the lower control arm. It's all off. The steering's already off. Where I am on this one is I'm basically down to one bolt. There's a bolt that comes in from this side, and there's a bolt that comes in from this side. This one is stuck and will not come out. I've hammered on it and hammered on it. I've sprayed it with PB Blaster, and I cannot get it to come out. So I'm letting it soak for now, and I'm moving on to something else. I may have to cut it out, but honestly, it's going to be really hard to get anything in there to cut it out. So I'm going to keep changing the angle of it to make sure it's not, not pinching or anything like that. But it's kind of the last thing I've got to do on the front. So you can see now, this kind of gives you an idea of when you have all the suspension out, the springs, the lower control arms, the brakes, all the things, the steering that comes through there. When you get all that out, you're basically down to just the frame and the shell, which is where I want to get. It makes the whole body much lighter. It should be fairly easy to get it up on the cart that I've built. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this rear end has been a pain in the rear end. Basically the leaf springs are attached with 3 bolts through the trunk. That was easy, they came out no problem. On the front part, they're attached with 2 bolts that come from the top. Those came out no problem. But the ones that go in from the bottom, man, they were in there hard. One of them came out on the side, and the other one, the head broke off, so I'm gonna have to deal with that later. And on the other side, both that came up from the bottom, both of those, the heads of the bolts broke off, so that's gonna be a pain to deal with later. All the suspension part of it, the strap is all toast, so I just cut it. The brake line coming in, I I tried to unbolt the emergency brake, but it was just so corroded it wasn't going to unbolt, so I just cut it. The same with the brake line coming in. And then these support rods, I tried to unbolt them. That was what the plan was, but the head keeps breaking off, so I just cut them. And all I know I'm going to have to replace them anyway. So at this point, this thing is ready to roll out of here and slide out of here. So that's what I'm getting ready to do, is pull it out. All right, so the rear end is out of it. That is definitely going to make the whole car lighter. I'm going to move this out of the way, clean everything all up, and that's going to prepare me to be able to get some help to pick the car up and lift it up onto the cart, and then I'll be ready to move on. So I had the video all set up to record us putting the car actually on the stand, and I forgot to turn it on. But basically, I had one of my sons on the front, and I was on one side, the back. My other son was on the other side. We lifted it up, and my wife rolled the cart underneath it, and we put the car on top of it, adjusted it, and got it squared, and got it right where it needs to be. I did end up going and putting some other braces down the bottom just to keep the thing from moving out of square. It's not perfect, but I think it'll work. It's pretty sturdy. It's already nice. I can move the car around. I can slide it over to the side, which gives me more space. If I need to work on the other side, I can roll it over this way. It's a little taller than I would have really wanted it to be, but you know the old adage, you can always make it shorter, you can't make it taller. And honestly, I've already sat down underneath it. You can get underneath it and there's plenty of space. I can sit on a stool when I'm working on this rocker, and I think it's going to be in a good spot. So might have been able to be a little bit shorter, but honestly for me at my height, I think this is going to be great. So I still got to get the lower control arm off on the driver's side, but now it's at a place where I can work on it pretty easily. So I think this has been a good move for me to be able to work on it pretty well and have plenty of space. So I'm excited. I'm excited to keep moving forward and start working on these rocker panels to start cutting some of the rust out.